So let's make another wreath. We're going to make a flower wreath this weekend, and we're going to use beautiful mesh, but we're going to use this beautiful poured center that my friend Kim from Nothing But Bows made for me. So all the information will be in the description box, so where you can get the mesh and where you can get the center. And make sure you stay till the end because I changed my mind and I changed it up a little bit from this picture. So let's get started. So what are we going to need? We are going to use a 12-inch wreath frame, and I was able to get into Dollar General. Have you guys ever been to Dollar General? Well, sometimes they have wreath frames, and so I'm going to use this 12-inch wreath frame that I got from Dollar General. It was only $2, but you can also use one from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, and even Joann's. They sell one that's more to this size. I know that it looks a little different, but it'll still do a great job either way. We're going to use some plastic canvas. This is a piece I've already cut out several centers from. You guys ask me this question. I get this question a lot. Where do you get this plastic canvas? Well, you can get it in a couple places. You can get it from the Wreath shop. I think Trinity Tree has it. And you can also get it from like Hobby Lobby and Joann's. I don't know that I've seen it at Michael's, but I will look. So you're going to see it in like where the yarn section is or the embroidery section, okay? That's what you're going to use. And then you're going to use this really pretty rose gold mesh. Now, mesh is kind of getting hard to find, okay? So I looked in a couple of sites, and as of 2021, we're at the, I think this is the last day of August, but this will come up in September. You can get, I believe, all three of these at Mel's Crafty Mojo, okay? Here's the important tip for Mel's Crafty Mojo. If you use my link and if you use the coupon code Julie's Wreath Boutique, you will get an extra 10% off of all orders of $35 or more. Now, I do know that Trinity Tree has this as well, but I don't know that they have the poly burlap. So you're just going to have to find who has it, and links will be in the description box below. I will try to have as many links as I can, okay? So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our wreath frame. We are going to draw a circle on the outside of the innermost circle frame here, and we're going to connect it with zip ties. Really simple. You've seen me do this a lot. That's what we're going to do. I don't know. Did I mention that you can get these centers from my friend, Nothing But Bows? She has an Etsy shop, and I will be leaving her shop below. So this is where you can get these. These are beautiful, hand-poured. They're one-of-a-kind centers, so I think it's really beautiful, and I can't wait to use it in this wreath. Okay, so as you know, in most of my videos, I use a wood burner. This is what I'm going to use today. All of my supplies you're going to find in my Amazon shop in the description box below. The wood burners, their glass mat or glass cutting board that I have, this Fisker's cutting mat. I love these, and my glue gun, all that stuff. So let's talk about how we're going to cut it. And we're going to cut the 10-inch mesh here. This is 10-inch poly burlap. So I'm just going to start it here. I think I've cut this before, but we're just going to cut it again just to make sure. And I just go in between the lines. Now, it's really important to wear a mask when you're cutting any type of mesh, okay? So that's very important. So you're just going to cut these at 10 inches a piece, like so. All right, and I'm going to cut about, I want to say at least 15 pieces of each color. I don't know if we're going to use all of them, but that's what I'm going to cut. It's always important to stay till the end of the video to find out how many petals I use. Now, this mesh here is more of a 10.5 inch to 11 inch piece of mesh. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that at more of like 10.5 inches. Now you're going to have to go through here and just be really careful. And I'm going to try to go through the lines here as best as I can. Okay. See, there's a few little pieces of foil that didn't come. So foil mesh can be a little temperamental, but it can work. Now, I'm going to cut this about 10.5 inches. All this mesh came from my online retailers that I use. Sometimes when you get the mesh from the local craft store, it might not do as well with the wood burner. So it's kind of hit or miss, okay? But the stuff that I purchase online, my links are down in the description box below, does generally pretty well with the wood burner. So I'm going to cut all this mesh and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna get started here, and I'm gonna preface this by I'm having some work done on my house. So if you hear a tapping noise or anything like that, just know that Julie's having some work done. So it's okay. We're gonna keep going because I need to film and I need to get content out for you guys. So we're gonna use our 12-inch frame. I told you how we use the plastic canvas. I already put it on the frame, as you can see. Okay, so we're going to use some of these natural colored zip ties that I got from Trendy Tree. And I'm just going to add my bracket or my zip tie here at the bracket. If you have a different wreath frame that doesn't have as many brackets, don't worry about it. We're just going to have the same number around the total wreath frame. I'm going to take and we're going to do the Dean Michael Designs daisy petal. So we're going to do just fold over and make a triangle, and then I'm going to just kind of fold this under a little bit. That's just my preference of doing it. And then I'm going to make the petal. Now, normally we would just leave it like that, but I am going to take it and I'm going to cup it forward, okay, so that we have more of a curved daisy petal here. So you're just going to take your zip tie here, and I'm just going to attach it to the frame. All right, so we're going to work on wire number 2. So that's very important to remember that while we're making these. So we're going to just go around and we're just going to keep making enough of these petals that we go around the whole entire frame, okay? So just make your little triangle and make your petal. Make sure you check out Trisha's YouTube channel, Dean Michael Designs. I'll leave the link below if I haven't already said that. But I'm going to add another one here. We don't want to crowd these too much too. So you don't want to, you might find that if you're using a smaller frame, you don't need as many. So, and that's okay too. So we're just going to keep adding them all the way around. So like, I'm not even going to put one on that bracket because I don't want to crowd this. And I always make sure I have the finished here and the finished there, just to keep the same design of which side the finished part is showing. I just think that's a good practice to be consistent on that. I haven't always been consistent, but that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna just make that cupped petal there. Oh, I already put a zip tie. Oops, you gotta know which way to put your zip tie, Julie. Okay, so we're just gonna keep going all the way around. Okay, so we're going to take the rose gold foil mesh. We're going to fold them in between like so, and then we are just going to ruffle it or gather it. It just kind of left my mind there for a minute. Then we're going to turn it over and we're going to form the single petal. Now, originally I thought I was going to put them this way, but I think that we're going to flip them over, okay? And I think it'll be much prettier if we do it this way. So we're going to put each one of these in between how many, oh, I need to look here and see how many of the natural beige color ones that we put down. So basically that'll keep our petals still kind of going in the same direction, but this we're going to do a little differently than this one, okay? So how many did we do on the outside here? We did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to use at least 14 more of these and go in between. Now, I did not use, as you can see, there's 2 here, 1 on the bracket, 1 here, 1 by the bracket. So I just wanted to make it, space it out just enough. So there wasn't like a certain number of petals per brackets, and that should be good because if you have a wreath frame that doesn't have that many brackets, then you can just kind of work with it. So I'm going to just keep going here. I have this one already made because I had thought I was doing it the other way and I showed you the other way. So I want to make sure we do it the right way. All right, so I need to pull that down just a little bit. Okay, so make sure that they all end about the same spot here. So let me do one more for you. I think this is going to be so pretty. So this one I'm going to actually put on the bracket, finished side in the bottom, finished side in the top. I'm going to meet in the middle and just gather. You usually just make a single petal one. This one goes over top, but we're going to flip it. Okay, so we're going to flip it and put it on our wreath frame. So just keep doing the same technique all the way around until we get to the other end there. Okay, I think that's looking really pretty. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 on the outer, 14 on the next bar. So now we're going to do the ivory or cream colored poly burlap. So what I want to do is I want to keep pretty close to where we are here. So I'm going to just kind of look at my frame here, and I'm going to go in, about a 1/2 inch, I think, because I'm going to cut some more of this pink, and we're going to put more pink or rose gold or whatever color you want to use. Okay, have fun with it. Make this a Christmas wreath. Make this a Valentine's wreath. Make it an Easter wreath. Use whatever you have on hand. If you want to buy these meshes, the links will be in the description box below. But use your imagination. That's what I want you to do, because we're using this deco mesh and the poly burlap to kind of give it a different kind of a look. So we're just going to do, again, the same petal we did on the outside, which is the Dean Michael Designs Daisy petal. And then we're going to just kind of flip it, okay? All right. And we're just going to add them right to the grid here that we've made in the middle. And so I'm going to work on that. That kind of got a little caught there. And so I'm just going to, at this point, I'm just going to go all the way around. Make sure these are overlapping just a little bit. I don't think we'll need exactly 14. We'll see, but just keep going around about the same spot all the way. You could even take a marker and just like make a circle in here if you needed to, if you needed that guide. But I'm going to be all right. So I'm going to put it this way because this is kind of the way I like to work. So I'm going to look at it. I'm going to add another zip tie there. Grab my poly burlap. Oh, what is the orange there for? Looks like a little sticker. Okay, so we're gonna make our, I think that was cut a little long. Let me see here. Yeah, I think that was cut a little long. So we're gonna make our little petal here. I'm gonna gather it at the side, and then I'm just gonna flip it and make a curved daisy petal. So I'm going to just place it down in here. All right, and kind of work with it. Just kind of position it. All right, so just keep doing this and we'll be back for the next step. Okay, so we used 10 petals for the inside here. And let me just tell you this, if you didn't want to use the cream, one roll of this natural color, which I think would be just as pretty, would work for this. So one roll of this rose gold, one roll of the natural, or vice versa. Do one roll of the cream and one roll of the rose gold. So it's really up to you. Use your imagination and let it go wild, okay? So now we're going to do another layer of this beautiful mesh that I want to focus on. And I'm just going to start my zip tie about a 1/2 inch from the end of this other petal here. And we're going to do that same petal, guys. We're going to do finish side bottom, finish side top, come in the middle. We're going to gather it. Then we're going to flip it over and we're going to bring it up. The left petal goes over the right petal just so slightly. And instead of putting it down like that, we're just going to flip it over, because this petal, I want this to kind of like go up around the center that we're putting in here. So that's kind of my thinking here, was number one, to make the center look like it was just being surrounded by all these beautiful petals. And so you're just going to work on that, and we're just going to go all the way around. My guess is I'm going to use another 10 petals here because deco mesh is a lot less dense, I think is the right word I want to look for. But listen, if you are on social media, if you're on Facebook, Instagram, check out the description box below and you will find all of my social media sites, and make sure you're following me there, okay? And if you haven't joined us here and subscribed on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. And we always love to make beautiful things, and I always love to hear some ideas of what you guys want to learn how to make, and I do my best to do what I can to make that happen. So we want that finished edge over the cut edge there, okay? So that's always a really good reminder here. This finished edge is always over the cut. And we're just going to keep going with it, guys. And when we come back, we're going to make a little attachment for our center here. And I think it's just really pretty and just a different way to have a wreath. Okay, so one of the things that I always do is I cut backs for my wreaths, okay? So I get felt by the yard. So it's like 3 yards of felt that I buy at the Hobby Lobby or Joann's, even Michael's, or not Michael's, but Walmart will sometimes have it too. So I buy the felt, I take a wreath, I just cut around it. I use this wave blade. I got this one from Hobby Lobby, but you can get something very similar in my Amazon shop. It has like a wave look on that. So it's used for quilting. So I'm going to put these to the side. I know there's 2, but it's a double layer. So we're going to have that in a moment. So let's talk about the center. Now I will leave the link for my friend Kim's shop, Nothing But Bows. And she has an Etsy shop and she makes all sorts of centers. This is just one of them. And I'm sure she'll be offering this one, but please keep in mind that it is poured and it might look a little different because it's poured, guys. It's not like using the same thing everywhere. So it's the art of the center. So it's a foam half center, and these are about 5.5 inches around. So I'm going to take a piece of wire here and I'm just going to add some floral picks in here. This is how I do mine. I don't know how everybody does theirs, but this is how I'm going to do mine. And since this is pretty deep, I can go right down in there. So now I'm going to take my glue gun, just grab it over here, and actually I need to push that down just a little bit more. And then you're just going to take a piece of scrap felt, and I'm going to, actually let's just put it on the felt. I need another glue stick. Hold on. These are the glue sticks I like. I like the Gorilla glue sticks. That's what I always use. So let me put it in my thing here. And I love this because it is cordless and that is my thing. Okay. So I'm going to, lay that over top. Put this down. Okay, put it over top. And then for a little extra added security, I get these little pens called Quilters T pens. I do have them in my Amazon shop, so I think they're still in there. And I have to be able to open the box. There you go. And I just like them because they have that flat T. They look like a T, and it's just going to help hold everything down. And I just like that. So I'm going to put 4 of these. We're going to let this dry, and then we're going to put this in the middle of our wreath. Okay, so I think this is beautiful. I only use 9 petals on the inside here. So total we used, of the rose gold, we used 23 petals. Of the natural color on the outer edge, we used 14, and we used 10 of the cream color. Again, if you don't want to buy a 3rd roll of mesh, just use this and put that in between. But we're going to take our center here and we're going to now thread it through, find the spot we want to add it to here. Okay. And we're just going to put it down in the center. And we're just going to flip it here in a moment. Let me get it over. This is gonna kind of bring down the mesh too, but I just like how it just kind of goes up and over that center. So I'm gonna flip this over now. I'm gonna try to be really careful because I don't want to, don't squish or mash down your petals here. So I'm kind of holding it up and doing this. And I'm just going to keep twisting it. And now I'm going to cut these and just gently make sure you don't mash any of this down. And then you're just going to go like this. I'm going to press it. Now I'm going to add one of my felt covered pieces here. So that's gonna go on the back here. I'm gonna poke holes with these little scissors, and I'm gonna go through and add zip ties. Now I get this question, Julie, why not just glue that? You could do that, but I like to have the option for my customer to be able to raise, or to, not to raise, why did I say raise? To hang their wreath wherever they want to hang it from. So if they want to, you know, turn it around, they can turn it around, because sometimes, you know, the weather could like get a petal and, you know, make it flop over, and then this way they can turn it. And honestly, that's going to be pretty messy if you're using the glue, but if you want to use the glue, go right ahead. It's okay. It's your wreath. You need to make it the way you want it. So I'm just going to finish this up. I'm going to put about probably 4 more here and 4 more here, and then it'll be done. So you would think I would be done after this. I've got the center in, I've got the backing on the wreath, and you think Julie's done. No, because Julie changed her mind. And that seems to be the tendencies with me. So this is what it would look like if you use the cream mesh, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the cream mesh out, and I'm gonna put the natural mesh in, because when I take the picture of this outside, you know what? I'm just not loving it quite yet. So I'm gonna change my mind, and I'm gonna change this color. Okay, so as you can see, I replaced the cream color with the natural color, poly burlap. And like I suspected, I like this so much more. I think that it makes the middle pop a little bit more. I kind of feel like if you want to do the cream, do the cream. I think this would also be pretty if you did all cream, like cream on the outside and cream here, and then the new rose gold mesh. So do what you want. I'm just here to help you facilitate the look that you want to go for. If you've made it this far, number one, check me out on social media. All my links are in the description box below, and leave me a fall leaf in the emojis if you have that option. If you watched all the way through, and my email list is down below. I'd love to have you on that. Some big things are coming up this fall, and I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this beautiful wreath, and we will see you next time in Julie's Wreath Boutique.